It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Citi Prime News live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Morton Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Eno Safo.
And I am Caleb Kuda.
Coming up, Elections Committee of the New Patriotic Party locked up in a meeting with some aspirants who participated in the Special Delegates Conference held on August 26. Meanwhile, NPP flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Ejapon justifies his comments to give President Akufo-Addo and Vice President a showdown.
The five northern regions, the arable lands that we have there, Volta region, Afram Place and Accra Place, when we go into agro processing with mechanized farming, my brother will be able.
Also coming up, heavy police presence in Nsawama Dwadri following a shooting incident which resulted in the death of two persons yesterday. Still ahead in the bulletin, army officers seize power in Gabon after President Ali Bongo is announced as winner in their election. And later, government embarks on a premix fuel automation and dispensing system across all 300 landing beaches across Ghana's coastline to tackle the persistent challenges of fuel diversion.
With the calibration and everything going on, realize that fishermen will get their value for money. And people who are not fishermen, cannot abuse subsidies that have been granted the industry by taxpayers.
All that and more on the Citi Prime News, which is live across the country on our partner stations in the Western region. You're listening to us on Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady. Also in Takrady, we're live on Beach 105.5 FM. In the Bono region, we're live on Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyang. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're live on Global 105.1 FM in Ho. And in Adakluwaya, we're live on Adanu 107.7 FM. In the Northern region, we're live on Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale. In the Upper West, Westlink 88.1 FM in Lora. In the Upper East region, Source 100.1 FM in Boko. And in the Northeast region, we're live on Scarp 101.3 FM in Nanpangduri. The news is also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com, Citi 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's settle for the details of our stories. There is heavy police deployment at Nsawama Dwadri in the eastern region following a shooting incident which resulted in the death of two persons yesterday. The police are in the town to ensure a reprisal attack does not occur. The two unidentified persons who are currently at the Nsawam Government Hospital morgue were part of four people who sustained gunshot wounds following renewed chieftaincy disputes between Achim Kotoku and Achim Ebuakwa Traditional Council after the installment of a chief at Nsawama Dwadri by the Achim Ebuakwa Traditional Council. City News understands the Municipal Security Council has convened an emergency meeting over the matter.
One person has been shot dead by some alleged illegal Chinese miners at Sefri Abrokoshe near Sefri Boinzan in the Western North region. Two others who are in critical condition are receiving treatment at the St. John's of God Hospital. According to the Assembly member for the electoral area, Kroko Afum, two other persons were shot in the thigh and the lower back, respectively.
Being the assemblyman of the electoral area, I went to this immediately. I heard the news, and it was so astonished. It was so surprising that this youth has been shot dead, and I can't even understand it. However, I reported the incident to Jaboso police station, and they just came in, they took the body, and those who have been injured too, they've just sent them to Asafo Government Hospital. So now you are just working on how you can just make sure that the culprits are being brought to book. For now, I've been told that the one who was having the gun, who shot the guy, has been what? arrested and is at the police custody at Jaboso. But I'm appealing to the security apparatus, talking about the Minister of Defense, Minister of Interior, and all the military apparatus, that they should rekindle the operation what and come to Bunzan. Because the illegal money at Bunzan is at the highest peak. To my surprise, they are not even Ghanaian. They are foreigners. They are Chinese. Look at them. They are destroying farmlands. They are destroying our water bodies. They are destroying even the future youth.
You heard the Assembly member for Boenzan electoral area, Kroko Afum.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Ejapong, has justified his utterances during the party's presidential primaries, which were captured in a viral video. The NPP flag bearer hopeful has been dragged to the disciplinary committee of the party after the video showed him saying he will give a showdown to President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for their alleged involvement in the intimidation of his agents in the Northeast region. The flag bearer hopeful in a tweet, however, explained that he reacted against injustice and to save the life of one of his polling agents in the Northeast region. The said agent, Al-Hassan Abdul Ganiu, in a media engagement after the polls, explained that but for the intervention, his life would have been at risk.
There, the regional chairman said they are going to give us some amount of money, 2,000. Then we said, no, we are not there for any money. He insisted that he will increase the amount by 1,000. Then we said, no, we are not going to go by any amount. Whatever amount you are giving, you are going to give it to us. We are not ready for it. Then after we told him we are leaving, myself and Honorable Alan's agent and that of Kojo Poku agent, we said we are leaving. Then he ran and locked the door. That is the dining hall, asking us we should better go and sign. Told us if we happen to move out, he will allow boys to attack us. They said he should allow us to go so that the boys will attack us on the way. So upon hearing from the reportage that Honorable Kennedy has quickly responded to what has transpired, then they begin to lose down the strategies and the pressure that they were mounting on us. So there, they could now all started moving. They all started moving out. Then that is where we also had our way to move out.
That was Abdul Ganiu, polling agent for Kennedy Ejapong in the Northeast region.
As campaigning for the district assembly elections heats up, it has emerged that issues such as political party interference, poor assembly member performance, and monetization will be critical for the electorates. These issues also account for the low voter turnout in the local assembly elections. Civil society groups and interest organizations are sounding the alarm about the state of local governance and urging immediate action. Reporting from the Ashanti region, City News' correspondent Hafiz Tijani highlights the situation further. The forecourt of the Accra Metropolitan
The Electoral Commission has indicated that despite facing challenges in pushing through its enacted legislative instrument for the district assembly elections, it remains resolute in conducting the exercise this year. Initially scheduled for October, the district-level election has faced setbacks after the new LI encountered opposition in Parliament. During the national stake.
We apologize for that wrong insert. We'll bring you the right one shortly.
This is still the Citi Prime News, live on 97.3 Citi FM. Stories will be bringing you. Elections Committee of the New Patriotic Party locked up in a meeting with some aspirants who participated in the Special Delegates Conference held on August 26. Meanwhile, NPP flag bearer hopeful Kennedy Ejapong has justified his comments to give President Akufo-Addo and Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia a showdown. Also, heavy police presence in Nsawama Dwadri following a shooting incident which resulted in the death of two persons yesterday. We'll bring you a story where the army officers have seized power in Gabon after President Ali Bongo was announced as winner in their elections. And we'll also bring you government embarking on a pre-mix fuel automation and dispensing system across all 300 landing beaches across Ghana's coastline to tackle the persistent challenges of fuel diversion. Remember, the news is live across the globe on citynewsroom.com, Citi 97.3 FM on Facebook, and CityTube on YouTube. We're also live across the country on our partner stations in the Western region. We're on Premier 100.5 FM in Takoradi. We're also on Beach 105.5 FM also in Takoradi. In the Bono region, we're live on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Ashanti region, Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Volta region, Global 105.1 FM in Ho. Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. In the Northern region, Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale. In the Upper West, Westlink 88.1 FM in Laura. In the Upper East, Source 100.1 FM in Boko. And in the Northeast, we're live on SCOP 101.3 FM in Nangpanduri. Caleb has some more stories.
The Ghana Physician Assistants Association has hinted on a possible resumption of their suspended strike action amongst other options to press home their demand. The group on August 2 suspended their strike, awaiting the outcome of a 28-day ultimatum issued by the National Labour Commission to the Ministry of Health regarding their protest against a proposed legislation that would subject them to supervision by the Medical and Dental Council. Speaking to Citi News, National President of the Association, Peter Akuduge Ayamba, said executives of the association will meet to decide on their next line of action following the failure of the Ministry of Health to address their concerns.
The National Council would have a meeting and would come out with the next line of action. But like I mentioned, all the options are outlined during the media engagement on the day that we met the Labour Commission are all options that we'll explore. I mentioned the possibility of resuming the strike, the possibility of working to rule, and also the possibility of non-renewal with the Medical and Dental Council if they still proceed with this bill. It is very important to know that even if we decide to work in line with the amendments that they sought to make, if we decide to work with that, in fact, that in itself may even be worse than a strike. Because what it means is that the current situation in the country does not put the health system in a good position if we have to work with direct supervision of medical doctors.
Peter Akuduge Ayamba further accused the Ministry of Health of demonstrating bad faith in addressing their concerns.
Supposed to have a number of engagement with the Ministry of Health, but like I indicated on the day of the hearing, it doesn't seem they have demonstrated any good faith because we have not invited for any engagement as it stands now. What we are aware of is that they have also written to complain from the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health as to whether or not the bill that we are against, whether or not it is with them and it has been late. They have not given us the feedback, but we're shared also with a copy of that letter. I'm saying this because they have indicated one or two of their submissions that the bill has not been late and they have submitted any bill in that regard. So their letter sought to confirm. We cannot tell exactly what it seeks to achieve, but what we expected was that they would have called us as an association to judge or.
Peter Akuduge Ayamba is president of the Ghana Physician Assistants Association.
The Ghana Health Service says it has trained health workers and volunteers across the country to address the high number of neglected tropical disease cases in the country. The desk officer for Neglected Tropical Diseases Program of the Ghana Health Service says several factors could be contributing to the high number of cases, including poor sanitation and hygiene practices that encourage mosquito breeding, which in turn spreads the disease, and stressed that the risk of infection is higher in areas where transmission is ongoing due to the prevalence of mosquitoes. Speaking to City News, Bright Alomatu indicated that the Ghana Health Service has put in measures to advocate for the concerns confronting patients of the disease.
The particular area is endemic in 114 districts across the country, and these districts are found in 12 regions. The only non-endemic regions are Ashanti and Ahafo, Volta, and Uchi. So these are the only four that are not endemic. And we mapped the disease in the country in 1999, and from 2001, we started implementing activities to eliminate the disease from the country. And annually, we distribute ivermectin and albendazole through volunteers from the communities within the district. And as they do the treatment, they also register individuals with the manifestations of the disease. And we also put in place measures to support the individuals living with these conditions. For the hydrocele and then the elephantiasis of the breast, there can be surgeries to correct them. But the swellings of the leg and then the hand, so far surgeries have not helped. So patients are taught to manage the condition. In all, we have registered close to 6,000 cases across the whole country. And I mean, those are those that we found. There could even be some more out there.
Bright Alomatu is a desk officer of the Neglected Tropical Diseases Program of the Ghana Health Service.
The Momo Agents Association of Ghana is encouraging people with blocked phone numbers due to the lack of a Ghana card to use the opportunity of the Ghana card registration resumption to unlock their SIM cards and access their e-wallets. Many mobile money users had their monies locked following the blocking of their SIM cards by the National Communication Authority after they failed to register. General Secretary of the group, Evans Otumfuo, spoke to City News.
Persons that as of now haven't received their Ghana card, for them it will be unfair for they to be suffering such an action because it is of no fault of theirs. It is the total absence or the unavailability of the Ghana card. That is why they are unable to link it. And so for them, it will be so inhumane and unfair to say that their account should remain locked. So we are still engaging further to find out, but thankfully the NIA has resumed the registration and the issuance of the Ghana card, and I believe persons that as of now hasn't gotten their cards, they will take advantage of the opportunity and then go and secure for themselves a Ghana card and then proceed to go and do the linkage and have their things get back.
Evans Otumfuo is the General Secretary of the Momo Agents Association of Ghana.
You're still listening to the Citi Prime News live on 97.3 Citi FM. Still to come, army officers seize power in Gabon after President Ali Bongo is announced as winner in their election. We'll bring you the details of that and many other stories shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ajwapa, what's all this condom business? Oh, I've told her over and over again that she won't get pregnant, and she's still insisting. Oh, isn't she the same person who said we would not have sex till we go out for at least 2 years? For all this time? Oh, and she still can't trust me enough? Ama, when I try to do something small, no, condom this, condom that. So handsome man like me, she probably thinks I have HIV.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner. Condoms are effective for protection against a wide spectrum of STIs and HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
The grand finale of the Literacy Challenge 2023 is here. Congratulations to our top 10 finalists. But the big question is, who out of our top 10 wins the ultimate prize of 10,000 Ghana cedis, a trophy, 6-month supply of Ribby Crunchy biscuits, and the bragging rights as the Literacy Challenge winner for 2023? Support your favorite student and let's promote literacy in Ghana. Tune in live to Citi TV for the grand finale on Saturday, 7th October 2023. Call 0558 973 973 for inquiries. The Literacy Challenge 2023 is powered by Citi TV, supported by 97.3 Citi FM, and is sponsored by the Ghana National Gas Company, Ribby Crunchy Biscuits by M4 Foods, SIC Insurance PLC, Perspectives Ghana Limited, Dex Technology, Alive Soap, and Fortune Rice.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's go to the Eastern region, where the Mampong Magistrate Court there has granted bail to 9 persons who allegedly assaulted the head pastor of the Adonai Revival Church, Benjamin Achampong. Reports indicate that the pastor was attacked on his farm at Berwasi by rival claimants to his land. The pastor, who is said to have sustained multiple fractures, was initially admitted at a health facility in Kwamoso, but later transferred to the St. Joseph Hospital in Kufuria. The court, presided over by Her Lordship Felicia Anani Entry, granted the accused persons bail to the tune of 50,000 Ghana cedis each. The case has been adjourned to September 26.
Now, let's take you back to that story on district assembly elections, where we are looking at the phenomenon of monetization, political party interference, and poor assembly member performance. Our Ashanti regional correspondent highlights these issues.
Despite efforts by institutions like the Electoral Commission, National Commission for Civic Education, and the media to educate, voter participation in local elections remains consistently low. Paul Mensah Abrampa, Programs Officer at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development, notes that the disinterest in district-level elections impacts the local government structure.
The manifestations are what you see at the local level. The manifestations are what are read by the Auditor General every year. The malfeasance, the misappropriation, the mishandling of resources there, because you don't have the competencies as oversight legislators to oversee, spearhead, and intervene where there are mismanagement going on there. Because people are not interested. So anybody can go there. Some of them don't even know their own standing orders. So we need to have the district authorities are the fulcrum for local development. That's why we spend taxpayers' money of about 7.5% at Common Fund to them, so that they can develop our local base for us, so that our communities, our villages will have a semblance of development. You need not travel from the village to city before you can access better services. No. The local government structure is expected to bring this sum of development to the local people. But because of their party, because of the disinterest, we are not seeing the development there.
Assembly members elected to drive development often face criticisms for inadequate performance to issues like sanitation problems in communities. Dinah Bimpom-Mafo, Principal Civic Education Officer for the National Commission for Civic Education in the Ashanti region, explains that these challenges lead to voter apathy during district-level elections.
Well, with the apathy, when you speak with most participants, they will tell you that all the participants, the assembly members, they haven't lived up to expectation. And then there is also the issue of monetization. And so when it comes to women, especially the marginalized, you realize that there's so much money being pumped into even the district level elections, which shouldn't have been the case. But because of this, most women are discouraged from even participating in this. And then there is also the issue of these political parties also getting involved when it comes to district level. It's a non-partisan activity. And so with people who do not want to be associated with any political party, they are discouraged from participating, because then if you do stand, you might be tagged.
A national dialogue involving stakeholders, including persons with disability, addresses these concerns and seeks solutions for the upcoming district-level elections.
So we realize that the cost that we incur are taxpayers' money. So there's a need for us to trigger ourselves as civil society organizations to alert the stakeholders to be very proactive in such a way that if there's any district level election, they also motivate other people to vote in their constituencies and their electoral areas. That will help us to consolidate the true democracy at the local level. So we have organized this for all the regions in Ghana. But then we have zoned the regions into three: the middle zone, the northern zone, and the southern zone.
Scheduled for December 19, the Electoral Commission has announced the district-level elections dates, but there are calls from civil society and interest groups for more comprehensive efforts to combat voter apathy.
The education itself is very low as compared to the national election, that the presidential and parliamentary. At least I'm sure from next year, January, we are going to hear a lot of messages on the election. But when it comes to assembly election, it's very low. Because I learned it should be in December, and we are now in the month of August. How many months left? And we've not heard anything about the assembly election.
Well, persons with disabilities actually have been very... What I would say is a lot of them don't even want to participate because of the financial inducements. Because elections these days in the country have been more of money and other things. And it has been very rigorous. You move from one community to another to talk to people. And the movement of persons with disabilities is always restricted. And our cultural beliefs too. Sometimes you see if person with disability over you, what can you do? You see? And so it has become a big challenge, except a few of us who will always want to defy those odds.
Civil society groups are worried about the continuous low turnout recorded during district-level elections. They have observed this trend is affecting Ghana's local government system. They want something done to address this trend. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Kumasi, Ashanti Region.
And here in the studios of 97.3 Citi FM in Accra, my name is Inosaf, and I'm doing this with Caleb Kuda. Let's do some more stories. Residents of Kleko and other communities near Agbozume in the Volta region have given the Minerals Commission a 5-day ultimatum to cease sand-winning operations in the area. The residents claim the activities involving over 100 trucks and earth-moving machinery are causing extensive damage to their farmlands and the environment. The concerned residents have submitted a petition to the Minerals Commission in which they claim the sand is being transported to Togo under the protection of the police. Speaking to Citi News, one of the residents, Abraham Futukpo, urged the relevant authorities to intervene promptly and halt the sand-winning activities.
They deploy about 150 trucks from Togo, fully registered in Togo name, with the earth-moving equipment to almost all the farming communities in Ketu South, especially Kleko. Kleko in Ketu South is predominantly farmers, and they have a good farming land, and these lands are mostly quite good for construction. Since there is a shortage of sand in Togo, the capital city, Lomé, these businessmen found Kleko to be a cheap land, where they buy a plot of land around 4,000, 5,000. So to them, they said they have license from the Mineral Commission to export and other kind of things to deceive community to sell land to them. And we cannot sit as a concerned citizen for this distraction to continue. So we decided to check from the authorities so that we know what to do next. We will activate a lot of a series of protests, probably to be said where these activities are taking place. The annoying part is they deploy the police protection. So we want to send a signal to the securities that they are not stronger than the town. They are not stronger than the Kleko indigents. And we are going to resist them with any power available to us. Even if it will cost our life, we will.
Abraham Futukpo is a resident of Kleko near Agbozume in the Volta region.
The Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dr. Ibrahim Awal, says the increase in utility tariffs forms part of government's plans to rake in revenue to stabilize the economy. Dr. Awal's comments come after the Ghana Hotels Association and the Ghana Progressive Hotels Association petitioned the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, over the 167% increment in water and electricity tariffs in February this year. The Sector Minister, Dr. Ibrahim Awal spoke at a stakeholder engagement forum.
I know tariffs came up. Before you say it, let me just say it. The tariffs came up not because we want to come back. If you remember, for 4 years we never increased tariffs. For 4 years, since President Akufo-Addo's time, 2017, we never increased tariffs. It's just now we are facing some economic challenges, working to restore the macroeconomic stability. Once you do that, it's better than doing so. Let's not forget what happened before we came to power. Before 2017, we shouldn't forget. We don't want to go back to Dumso. Dumso is devastating. We'll never go back under President Akufo-Addo. We'll never go to Dumso. Bear with us. I want to assure you that slowly we'll stabilize the economy, and this adjustment will abate.
Dr. Ibrahim Awal is the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Akwesi Agyeman, says a meeting will be held with the hoteliers to address their concerns.
We had even requested for a meeting with PURC on this, and we are going to follow through. I'm happy that at least they also added their voice to our concerns, and so it's a joint. We sympathize with them. Obviously, if hotels can operate more effectively and efficiently, some of these tariffs have to be looked at. But we are also mindful that we don't want a situation where, they say an expensive electricity is better than no electricity. So let's see how we work together to resolve it.
Akwesi Agyeman is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority.
To tackle the persistent challenges faced by the premix fuel sector, the Akufo-Addo government has embarked on a digitization of the sale process at all 300 landing beaches along the country's coastline. Given the historical issues of diversion and misuse of subsidized premix fuel meant for fisherfolk, the premix fuel automation and dispensing system set to be launched in September aims at streamlining the distribution and sale of the commodity. Reporting for Citi News, Caleb Kuda brings us more on this initiative.
Since the 1990s, the Ghanaian government has subsidized premix fuel for outboard engines to support fisherfolk and enhance their livelihoods. In 2022 alone, the government allocated approximately 260 million cedis for these subsidies. Over the span of 2014 to 2022, a total of 1.4 billion cedis was expended on premix fuel subsidies. Regrettably, Nana Jojo Solomon, National Chief Fisherman and Fisheries Commission Board member, highlights that this subsidy has often been misused to the detriment of fisherfolk.
Because of the heavy subsidy on the premix, believe me, almost everybody from all walks of life outside the industry would want to come in there. And mostly, a lot of them have succeeded in coming in there. Be they political, activists, party people, favorites, party sympathizers, some MCs, DCs, all over. It has become a source of worry to some of us.
Aside the issue of diversion and hoarding of premix fuel, Nana Jojo Solomon discloses that fishermen have been consistently shortchanged over time.
As a chief fisherman, a former chief fisherman, I know there are a lot of lapses that people were cashing in on. Some are the fact that we don't have the regular machines to dispense the fuel. We use buckets, and therefore a lot of the LBCs do the fishermen in. It has been a source of worry. I've served on the premix committee for 4 years, and I had constantly drummed home the fact that, look, fishermen are being disenfranchised when it comes to value for money when they're buying the fuel.
Uncalibrated sales methods have led to fisher folks being unfairly treated, and the vendors who often sell the flammable products in the open air with buckets face safety risks. Isaac Mensah, Secretary of Mori Inkum London Beach Committee, expresses these concerns to City News.
The challenges are a lot. The fuel is insufficient supply, and everybody, because the fuel is not coming fluently, everybody is trying to get some when it comes once. So we always face challenges here. People are fighting, quarreling, and so many things, and the place too is not safe when in case of anything. It has been a concern to us because where we are working and we are not in a safe place, we always think of how we're going to get a safe place to work so as to fit what we are doing.
To address these pressing issues, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture has taken steps to streamline the distribution and sale of premix fuel. Mavis Habakumsin serves as the sector minister.
His Excellency the Vice President tasked me, and the reason was that I should make sure that the fuel that are being diverted will get to the rightful people. Because we realize that from Tor to the landing beach, we don't get the quantity that is supposed to get there. Sometimes it doesn't even get there at all. We have 300 landing beaches, and these 300 landing beaches, government supplies them with premix fuel. But at the end of the day, as I said earlier, it doesn't get to the designated people. And so we are bringing in this automation to curtail the diversion, and it will also help government to know the quantity that he should take to a landing beach at a particular time. And we also know the number of fishers that draw premix fuel at a particular landing beach. We have their canoe registration, and we are to emboss it on their canoes, and these numbers will be synchronized with their data.
The minister further provides insights into the workings of the premix fuel automation and dispensing system.
We'll be able to monitor the fuel from the from the Tor to the landing beach. Even in my office, we'll know the quantity that is taken from Tor and the quantity that is being delivered. And then when somebody draws, we'll be able to know who has drawn what quantity, and we'll know as and when we should send premix to the community. There will be no more diversion. It will get to the rightful people. We also know the number of people that are supposed to draw the premix fuel. Sometimes we hear about, outbreak of fire at the landing beaches. All this will be minimized because they are now in a tank, and it's being drawn under a supervision. So there will be no fire outbreak in the community.
Nana Abrokwa Asari is the administrator of the National Premix Fuel Secretariat. He sheds light on the capacity of the innovative tanks that will be deployed across all 300 landing beaches.
It is a 15,000 litre capacity tank. So the tanks are in two forms. We have the 15,000 and then the 30,000 litres capacity storage tanks. The 15,000 tanks are for landing beaches where we have smaller number of canoes. This is Nungwa, where we have just about 100 to about 120 canoes. Landing beaches that have bigger capacities have the double size tanks, that is the 30,000 litre capacity tanks.
Additionally, Nana Abrokwa Asari details the entities responsible for providing services at these new distribution points.
We already have a landing beach committee system in place. The LI that governs the sale and distribution of premix fuel, fishermen, the right to manage premix fuel outlets. It is headed by the chief fisherman. We have other representatives like the canoe owner, fishmonger, etc. So it's a 7-member committee. But because of the level of technology, it will take a while for our fishermen to also adjust to handling this very expensive machine. So every distribution point will have a sales assistant that would support the landing beach system that we already have to make sure that there's smooth and easy flow of transactions.
The primary beneficiaries of this innovation are the fisherfolk themselves. insights into the awareness of the system and their perceptions of its potential to enhance their businesses are garnered through interviews conducted at Elmina, Mori, and Nungwa London beaches. The government has thought about our challenges and decided to digitize the distribution and sale of premix fuel. It is a good thing. It will benefit us. The Fisheries Minister has done well. We hope they can expand it.
I think it will be safe for us. It will be good for us to use the automation. Because selling fuel at open place like this, you can see that it is not good. And in case of any fire or anything, our lives are not safe. So it's better we use the automation, and we are happy for it.
With the calibration and everything going on, realize that fishermen will get their value for money. And people who are not fishermen, cannot abuse subsidies that have been granted the industry by taxpayers. You understand? So all these things, I think, we are yet to see whether, in the course of the dispensation, we'll also come up with some, gaps or, flaws in the system. But I think predominantly with what we have seen and, I think at least 90%, 95% of clearance, will be done and fishermen will be happy.
The full uptake of the premix fuel automation and dispensing system promises to eradicate the human elements that robbed many fisher folk of the much-needed commodity that is premix fuel. For Citi News, I am Caleb Kuda.
Caleb, you were there personally, and you were at the landing beaches personally, and you filed this report. Do we know exactly when in September the premix fuel automation and dispensing system will be launched?
I understand this will happen on the 5th of September. Most likely on the 5th, the Vice President will launch the premix fuel automation and dispensing system. That means that if you're a fisherman, by now you have your card which shows that you have either the net or a canoe. Okay, and then that card has been also integrated with your Ghana card, so that no one else can infiltrate the premix fuel. It's heavily subsidized. But over the period, it has been hijacked by some persons who are not even fisher folk at all. So the whole process of digitizing the sale and dispensing of premix fuel is to do away with persons who are not in the premix fuel value chain, so that the fisher folk themselves can have access to the premix fuel.
Digitizing Ghana agenda on. Right. So you're still listening to the Citi Prime News live on 97.3 Citi FM. Still to come, Army officers seize power in Gabon after President Ali Bongo is announced as winner in their elections. We'll tell you more shortly. Do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Happy birthday to you. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
Throughout all life-changing moments such as graduations, weddings, funerals, birthdays, ATL is there to ensure you're never out of style. When you think fabric, think ATL. Log on to atlfabrics.com. Order and buy your favorite ATL fabric. You can also visit our shop at number 40 Kwame Nkrumah Avenue, opposite the Swansea Shopping Arcade at Accra Central. Also available in leading fabric dealer shops in Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. ATL, bringing fabric to life.
It's been an excitement day for me because I've been able to win some games with Mega 6. Yes, as the name goes, it is Mega 6. What I did was that I put up 6 numbers in there. Fortunately for me, I had 4. I was able to stake an amount of 20 cedis, making a quantum of 20,000 Ghana cedi. Yes, I believe that it's a game of chances and always open for everybody to play. I realize it's 2 cedis that you can stake, but the maximum you can stake in there is 20 cedis. Mega 6 Lotto is a mega ring.
This could be you by playing the Mega 6 Lottery. With only 49 numbers to choose from, the odds are always in your favor. Play with as little as 2 Ghana cedis for a chance to win millions of cedis every week. Download the app on Android or iOS, dial *266# or visit mega6lotto.com to make a mega impact on your life and the lives of others.
Play responsibly. The Mega 6 Lottery platform is regulated by the National Lottery Authority.
Citi TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on channel 363. On GoTV, we're on channel 117, and on HD+, get us on channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search, but take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Citi TV. Citi TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and HD+ boxes. Citi TV, it's your world.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Indiscipline remains a major factor to increasing road crashes being recorded in parts of the country despite enforcement of road traffic regulations by relevant agencies. The Ghana Police Service is rolling out a technology-driven initiative to increase compliance of road traffic laws and regulations to reduce crashes and related deaths and injuries. Citi News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
The initiative, christened Traffic Tech GH, is an automated system developed by the Ghana Police Service to enforce road traffic laws and improve road safety in the country. The police, as part of the initiative, will use cameras and sensors to automatically capture vehicles that flout road traffic laws, like overspeeding and jumping the red light. Director in charge of Education, Research and Training at the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department, Chief Superintendent Alexander Kweku Obeng, says specific fines will also be issued to offenders.
We are able to gather live evidence to confirm who has been caught or whose vehicle has been detected to have run amber or red light, among others, so that we're able to also send a notice via SMS to the vehicle owner's telephone or the driver's telephone, for the driver to be forthcoming with a specified fine electronically or through any other means, so that within 14 days, all these incidents of violation would have been resolved, other than proceeding to court or being invited to come to police station and then subjecting the person to all manner of interrogation. The fines that have been proposed under this regime and the rule law will very soon be considered. We are not looking below 120 Ghana cedis per fine, and the maximum, depending on the gravity, may not be more than 240 cedis. And that is the limit to which the police will have the power. The rest has to be referred to the court.
Police say they will continue to enforce the laws and will leverage on technology to bring sanity on the roads.
These are techniques and technology that is being used, and it is going to capture everybody. It is fixed advantage points, they are fixed in vans that you may not be aware. So essentially, what the message that we are sending across is that everybody must obey the rules. When you obey the rules, we have no problem with you. We are going to enforce the rules to the letter. And for that matter, any person who engages the road, these cameras are hidden. You wouldn't see them. So you have to be abreast with the rules and obey them. That's all.
The Ghana Police Service is collaborating with institutions like the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority in implementing the initiative. Officials at the DVLA are pledging full support for the initiative.
For this process to even be operational, it cannot happen without DVLA.
because we will have to provide the data that will be able to be used by the system to be able to reach the drivers. DVLA will provide accurate and timely data for the system and for the process. And because when information comes that a certain car with a certain registration has breached the law, we would go into our system and say, this is the phone number of the one whose name the vehicle is registered. You understand? And so by that process, the person can be easily reached so that the person will face the penalty as stipulated by law.
The police service, as part of a nationwide stakeholder engagement, met leadership of various transport unions and other interest groups to sensitize them on the initiative. Now, the Ghana Police Service and other stakeholders in the transport sector believe this initiative will help improve transport in Ghana and also reduce accidents. Hafiz Tijani, Citi News, Kumasi, Ashanti Region.
And back here in the studio, I'm Caleb Kuda with Eno Safo. Moving on to some other stories, and 4 illegal miners have been arrested by the Anti-Galamsey Task Force in the Chifu Atimokwa district of the Central Region. The suspects Musa Wangara, Isaac Owusu, Musa Al-Hassan, and William Toku were arrested by the team during the operation. Additionally, 2 weapons were retrieved. Other equipment used in the illegal operation were also seized by the team. A district chief executive for Chifu Atimokwa, Robert Ajiman, laments the difficulties in fighting the menace.
Galamsey introduce community mining. Try see let me minimize the Galamsey activities.
You are all aware of the challenges we face. The government has introduced community mining to create jobs, but individuals are instead engaging in illegal mining. The activity is destroying River Pra, and this is a cause of worry. But the community can only play a key role by informing us about the activities. We must help the government to fight this menace. The cocoa farmers are worried because the Galamsey is destroying their farm.
5 kilometers in the it's a challenge. I believe there's a communities in this war around almost play or move. You can bet me a boy.
Robert Ajiman is the district chief executive for Chifu Atimokwa in the Central Region. Now, the 2023 Ghana Football Association election process remains suspended following the adjournment of the case involving the club side, King Faisal, and the football governing body. The new date for the case is Wednesday, September 6. Relegated Ghana Premier League team King Faisal wants the GFA to be stopped from holding its scheduled presidential election on September 27 in Tamale. They want this restraint to continue until elections for the representatives of the National League clubs, regional football associations, and the related bodies are completed.
Away from football issues, army officers have appeared on national television in Gabon to say they have taken power. They said they were annulling the results of Saturday's election in which President Ali Bongo was re-elected. The Electoral Commission said Mr. Bongo had won just under 2/3 of the votes in an election the opposition argued was fraudulent. His overthrow would end his family's 53-year hold on power in Gabon. Gabon is one of Africa's major oil producers, with nearly 90% of the country being covered by forests. Ali Bongo took over from his father, Alpha Omar Bongo. 12 soldiers appeared on television early on Wednesday morning, announcing they were cancelling the results of the election and dissolving all the institutions of the republic. They added that the country's borders had been closed until further notice. If confirmed, this would be the 8th coup in former French colonies in Africa in the past 3 years. Joining me in studio to put this in perspective is our own head of research, Nathan Kwao. Nathan, many thanks for joining us.
Hi.
How have the people in Gabon been reacting to this news?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I've seen several videos of people hailing the soldiers, people out in the streets celebrating, chanting, cheering. But the general atmosphere in Gabon among the citizenry is one of people who are really tired of the establishment. They've seen the Bongos in power since the 60s, I think, and they are happy to see something very, very different.
the conditions in Gabon have deteriorated over the years, and for these citizens who live their lives on a daily, seeing something different represents possibly a new chapter for them. So when you watch the videos, when you interact with people there, they seem largely pleased that the bongos aren't there, but they really do not know what the future portends, especially now that there's a military junta in charge.
And what about other countries? What have they been saying?
Well, there have been reactions from Russia, from China, from the EU, head of security and the head of policy and all. Everybody, so France says they are concerned. Russia has said the same thing. The Chinese have said something very similar. The EU is saying that why are there too many coups happening in West and Central Africa? So the reaction across the table is of concern, is of worry, especially as we have a situation in Niger that's not been dealt with and fully resolved. So there is concern, across the board, and we'll have to wait and see what exactly will be said by the African Union. It hasn't said anything yet. Maybe ECOWAS will speak, but globally, France, the EU, China, and Russia have all spoken.
You mentioned that AU hasn't said anything, but ECOWAS may make an announcement soon. Aside those regional bodies, what exactly is the concern of the other countries? Because it seems the people are happy about this coup.
It's just the rampant nature of the coups. The fact that there's one in Niger, we've had one in Mali, Burkina Faso, there's instability in Central African Republic, there's a lot of insurgents. If you go to northern part of Mali, Niger, the Sahel area. So the general concern is that these things are just creating more fertile grounds for more instability, for more insurgency, for more terrorism to grow and breed itself in Africa, really. So that's just the concern of those who are outside looking in. There are those who say that, well, people are concerned because they have interest. Well, whatever it is, there is some concern across the table that Africa seems to be degenerating into a place where the coups are beginning to come up again. They were very rampant in the 60s and 70s, some aspects of the 80s, and it looks like they are coming back again.
Do we know anything about this Bongo family? I mean, they've 53 years.
Yeah, I mean, Omar Bongo was president from the 60s to a point, and then when he passed, his son Ali Bongo Ndimba took charge. And they have been in charge. They have been the ones running the show. And that for most Gabonese, you have these people they look up to in power, and they seem to be well off. And then the citizens seem to be in poverty. Economic conditions have deteriorated and all of those things. I was talking about the reaction, and I'll give you an example. Total, for example, the French petroleum company, they've got workers there, and they are very concerned as to what will happen to their workers and all of those things. So, for example, the citizens, when you look at all these conditions, they are in poverty, they are struggling to make ends meet. And then you have all these people like the people connected to power, enjoying the wealth and all. So the Gabonese see the Bongos as these despots, and they are just kind of pleased that they are leaving. But like I said, usually when coups happen, the first few days, people are happy. The Bongos have gone and all of that. But then you start to wonder, what does this mean for them going forward? The military sees itself as this intermediary measure. They say they are stepping in to settle things. What will happen? How long will it take them to return to constitutional rule? What happens to the opposition? Will another election be held? Those are questions that will have to be answered in the next few weeks and months so that Gabon doesn't break down into one of the chaotic episodes we see happening in other parts of Africa.
All right. Many thanks for that update. Nathan Kwao is head of research here at Citi TV and Citi FM. Caleb has some more stories.
Now, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, has charged journalists in the country to persistently hold the government accountable. The call was made after leadership of the opposition party paid a courtesy call on the Ghana Journalists Association. During the visit, the General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavikwete, cited the 60 billion Ghana cedis losses incurred by the BOG as one of the corrupt activities in the country and the reason why the media must hold duty bearers to account.
Transport fares have gone up, cost of living has gone up, people are struggling, but that institution decided that it's going to dig in, and regardless of whatever anybody does, that is how I want it done, because that seems to suit what the government of the day wants, which is nothing short of suppression of the vote of the people. This is a conversation that we believe you as a media will be able to push, not for the sake of any political party, but to ensure that this country institutions work well. we hold duty bearers to account in order to ensure that the right thing gets done. The same way we seek for the media to assert its independence and autonomy and do its job, the same way we expect to be done for every institution.
General Secretary of the NDC, Fifi Fiavikote there.
And that's it for the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio here in Adabraka in Accra. I am Edo Safo.
And I am Caleb Kuda.
For more news, do log on to our website, citynewsroom.com. Up next is the afternoon's edition of the City Business News with Ni Latte Latte. Many thanks for tuning in. Do enjoy your day.
City 97.